You're standing in a kitchen you've never been in. Someone says a sentence you've never heard, and your whole body goes cold. Because you know this moment. You've lived it before. Except you haven't. 97% of people have felt this. Scientists have a word for it, but almost nobody knows what it actually means. And the real answer is stranger than any ghost story. This is Deja Vu. And by the end of this video, you'll never think about your own memory the same way again. For decades, the story we told ourselves was simple. Deja vu is a memory glitch, a flicker of an old dream, a scene from a movie you forgot you watched, resurfacing in disguise. It's comforting. It's tidy. It's also almost certainly wrong. Because here's the detail that broke that theory apart. Deja vu strikes hardest in your 20s and fades as you get older. The exact opposite of what a leaking memory theory would predict. If deja vu were old memories bleeding through, it should get worse with age, when your memory bank is fuller. Instead, it gets rarer. Something else is going on. Picture a security guard sitting in front of two screens. One shows what's happening right now, live. The other shows what he expects to happen, based on everything he's seen before. Most of the time, those two screens roughly match, and he doesn't even notice them separately. They blend into one smooth sense of normal. Your brain runs the same setup. One system processes what's happening to you right now. A separate system, buried in the temporal lobe, is constantly, silently predicting what's about to happen next, half a second ahead of real time. For deja vu to occur, scientists now believe those two screens have to briefly desynchronize and then snap back into sync at the exact wrong moment. Your prediction system and your live perception system momentarily disagree, then reconcile, and your conscious mind, trying to make sense of that strange internal mismatch, reaches for the only explanation it has. I must have already lived this. It's not a memory, it's a misfire between two versions of the present. Now, here's where it gets genuinely contested, and not just among mystics. For thousands of years, cultures across the world have treated deja vu as proof of something sacred. Reincarnation traditions in South Asia have long pointed to it as residue from a past life. In the 19th century, spiritualists in Europe presented it as evidence of prophetic dreams. Even today, some physicists, serious ones, float the idea that deja vu could be a glitch, where consciousness briefly touches a parallel timeline. Neuroscience pushes back hard on this. Every documented case of intensified deja vu has been traced to temporal lobe activity, not to anything outside the skull. Patients with temporal lobe epilepsy can experience deja vu hundreds of times before a seizure, so reliably that neurologists use it as a warning sign. So, which is it? Sacred memory or misfiring circuitry? The honest answer is that the feeling is not up for debate. It is real, universal, and often profound. What's contested is only what that feeling is evidence of. And that distinction matters more than it sounds, because it changes what déjà vu is actually pointing toward. Here's the detail that changes everything. In 2016, researchers at St. Andrews found something almost nobody expected. When they gave people déjà vu-inducing scenarios in the lab, and then asked them to predict what would happen next in the scene, the people experiencing déjà vu were significantly better at guessing correctly. Read that again. Déjà vu wasn't just a false feeling of having seen the past. It came bundled with an actual, measurable boost in predicting the future. Which means the story we started with was backwards. Déjà vu isn't your brain glancing behind you. It's your brain's forecasting system briefly surfacing into consciousness, letting you feel, for 1 second, the prediction it's always quietly running underneath everything you do. You don't feel déjà vu because you've been here before. You feel it because, for one flickering moment, you caught your own mind mid-guess about what happens next. And it was right. Memory researcher Chris Moulin once studied a retired engineer, referred to in the case files as AKP, ordinary man, ordinary life, until his déjà vu stopped being occasional and became almost constant. He stopped watching the news because every story felt like something he'd already heard. He stopped going to his doctor's appointments, insisting he'd already had them, down to the exact conversation. His prediction system, the same one that gives the rest of us that half-second shiver a few times a year, had gone into overdrive, tagging everything as already lived. AKP wasn't remembering his past more than the rest of us. His brain was simply narrating its own predictions out loud, non-stop, and mislabeling every single one of them as memory. What looked, from the outside, like a man haunted by his past, was actually something closer to the opposite. A man who could never stop feeling the pull of what was coming next. So the next time it happens to you, the cold room, the familiar sentence, the certainty that you've stood in this exact moment before, you can let go of the ghost story and the "your brain is broken" story too. What you're feeling isn't the past reaching backward to touch you. Maybe déjà vu isn't your brain remembering who you were. It's your brain, for one flickering second, meeting who you're about to become.